You wake up, choking on dust. The air is thick with the stench of animal sweat, burnt grain, and something far worse, rotting human waste. Your head throbs from the heat. Your skin is already coated in grime, and the buzzing of flies is so loud it sounds like static in your ears. You sit up, but the bed is gone. There is no mattress, no frame. Beneath you is hard-packed earth, still damp from the night's moisture and littered with straw and goat droppings. A low ceiling made of timber and mud sags above your head, barely letting in a beam of sunlight through a tiny hole. You are inside a single-room dwelling, and you are not alone. A woman sits in the corner, nursing a child. She glances at you with suspicion, not surprise. Beside her is a pile of pottery jars. Some hold dried legumes, others catch drips of water from the leaky roof. Outside, voices rise. Animals groan. Someone coughs so violently it sounds like choking. You try to speak, but the words don't come. Not because of fear, but because you do not know how. The language is unfamiliar, guttural, filled with clicks and sounds that don't belong in your throat. You're not in your world anymore. You are in theirs. And whether or not you survive this place isn't up to you. It's up to them. You thought civilization would be your salvation, but the Neolithic era is a trap, and you have just stepped into it. This is not the prehistory you learned about in school. There are no mammoths, no saber-toothed cats, no cave paintings lit by torchlight. You are past all of that. You have landed in a time when humans have made their first dangerous decision to stop moving. Welcome to the Neolithic era, where agriculture is beginning to take root and permanent settlements like Çatalhöyük and Jericho are shaping the course of history. These people have chosen a new path. They have planted crops, domesticated animals, and built homes from stone and clay. This is where civilization begins. But beginnings are never gentle. You arrive with nothing, no immunity to the bacteria in the soil, no knowledge of the crops or seasons, no idea which gestures are polite and which ones might get you killed. You do not speak their language. You cannot hunt or farm or make pottery. You are not family. You are not tribe. You are alone. In a world where survival depends on your ability to contribute, that makes you a problem. There is no mercy here, no government, no hospitals, no pity. If you can't carry your weight, they will not carry you. The people around you may seem primitive by modern standards, but they are sharper, stronger, and more connected to this land than you will ever be. Their lives are a daily battle against starvation, predators, and each other. You are not here as a guest. You are not even seen as human. You are a burden that might cost them their next meal. And worst of all, your time machine is gone, broken, buried, lost somewhere in the dirt, or shattered in the collision between worlds. There is no going back. And forward in this place is paved with disease, labor, hunger, and silence. You wanted to witness the dawn of civilization, but you're not a witness anymore. You're a test subject, and you have already failed the first trial. The mud door opens. A tall figure enters and points to the village square. You don't know what he's saying, but the meaning is clear. You either follow or you're done. Your feet slap against sun-baked dirt as you're led out of the cramped hut. The light is blinding. You shield your eyes, but it's no use. The Neolithic sun is unforgiving, and the air smells like ash. Livestock and human labor impatiently. You follow, dizzy and dehydrated, through a narrow passage lined with clay homes that all seem to lean inward, as if the entire village is collapsing toward itself. There are no roads, rutted footpaths trodden by bare feet and hooves. Smoke rises from primitive hearths, curling around rooftops plastered with mud and straw. Dogs bark in the distance. Chickens scatter at your approach. Every sense is overwhelmed. Children stop their play to stare. Their hair is matted. Their faces are streaked with mud. One girl points at you, saying something that makes the others laugh. An old woman watches from a doorway, her eyes sharp with caution, her hands twisting dried reeds into rope. You try to nod politely, but your gesture feels wrong. Her gaze hardens. You've already made your first mistake. The man leads you into the heart of the village. A communal courtyard where several families are gathered around woven baskets and grinding stones. Women kneel on the ground, crushing grain into flour with rhythmic, tireless movements. Their arms are lean, their palms cracked. Nearby, slabs of meat dry on wooden racks while flies swarm. A clay oven glows faintly red, its opening no wider than your forearm. The air is thick with soot. Someone throws another bundle of sticks into the fire, and sparks shoot upward like fireflies. The villagers do not smile. They do not speak to you. They speak about you. Their words are short, clipped, almost musical in cadence, but completely foreign. You catch only fragments, repeated tones, names, perhaps, but none are yours. You are not introduced. You are inspected. The man who brought you gestures toward your hands. You hold them out instinctively. They are soft, pale, untested. He grunts something that causes two others to step forward and grab you by the arms. You are led to a pile of stone tools and handed a crude hoe. No explanation, no instruction. You are pointed toward a narrow path that leads between two rows of planted barley. Beyond the fields, a wall of jagged hills looms in the distance. You look back, but no one is watching. You are already expected to understand. You step into the field and feel the soil shift beneath your feet. It is dry and brittle, desperate for water. The crops are struggling. You kneel and begin to dig, imitating the movements of a nearby farmer. Your back protests. The sun beats down. Within minutes, sweat stings your eyes, and your breath becomes ragged. There is no shade, no breaks. No one checks on you. Then the coughing starts again. Not yours, someone else's. A deep, wet sound coming from a man nearby. He collapses forward into the dirt, and no one moves to help. A woman walks over, rolls him onto his side, then picks up his tool and continues his work. You freeze. You want to intervene, but you remember the eyes, the way they looked at you when you arrived. You are not one of them. If you fall, the same thing will happen to you. The village will keep turning. The grain will still be ground. The children will still play. You will be left in the field to rot, another nameless failure swallowed by the land. You wipe the sweat from your face. Your arms tremble, but you keep digging. Nightfall is still hours away, but your body is already giving out. And as you look at the blisters forming across your palms, a terrifying truth sets in. This is only the first day. You always thought food was a given, something to be stored, bought, shared, or ordered. Even hunting seemed more dignified in your imagination. Quick, heroic, full of purpose. But here, in the Neolithic village, food is something you chase every waking hour. There is no pantry, no surplus, no room for error. Every grain, every root, every animal must be earned with sweat and pain. At dawn, the village erupts into motion. There is no breakfast, only preparation. Women tie woven baskets to their backs and vanish into the distance in small groups, armed with sharp sticks and bone knives. They are not heading into a forest. They are walking toward a stretch of brittle land where wild onions, bitter greens, and tubers are rumored to grow. You are not invited. You are assigned to the fields again. The fields are not lush. The barley and einkorn, wheat, strain under the heat, yellowing before they ripen. You are handed a flint blade the size of your palm and told to harvest what little has grown. You try to mimic the others, cutting the stalks low and bundling them tightly. But your grip is weak. The stone bites into your fingers. Your hands begin to shake. When your bundle unravels in the dirt, a boy no older then 12 scowls, and takes over your spot without a word. By midday, you are told to carry your share to the central courtyard. There, you sit among others, your legs crossed painfully tight, grinding grain between two slabs of sandstone. Over and over, you push the heavy upper stone in circles. The dust rises into your nose and throat. After an hour, your arms go numb, but no one stops. Grain must become flour. Flour must become paste. Paste must be shaped and baked before sundown. Everything is urgent. Everything hurts. In the corner of the courtyard, a woman butchers a goat. You catch a glimpse of the animal's ribs as she peels away the skin with practiced skill. Nothing is wasted. Organs are wrapped in leaves. Blood is caught in a bowl. The hide will become clothing. The bones will be tools. A child scoops up the animal's stomach with bare hands and carries it to a nearby hut. You look away. Your stomach churns. The thought of eating has vanished. Later, as the sun begins to fall, you are given a lump of charred grain paste. It is bitter and dry, flavored only by the smoke it absorbed in the fire. You eat in silence, sitting among others who ignore you completely. You chew slowly, fighting the urge to gag. It is not enough. Your body craves salt, protein, fruit, anything familiar. But there is nothing else. You are lucky to eat at all. One of the villagers hands you a bowl of murky water. You drink it too fast and feel the grit on your tongue. The sun may be setting, but the hunger never ends. You finally understand what this village truly is. It is a machine built around the single goal of not starving. You lie down that night with a belly that feels both full and empty. Your hands are raw. Your body is shaking. And the day after that, and the day after that, until your body breaks or they stop feeding you. The water looks harmless, slightly cloudy, maybe a bit warm, but it sits quietly in its clay jug, like any drink should. You sip it again the next morning, throat dry from sleep and ash. You know it's unclean, but thirst overrides caution. The water scratches its way down, leaving a metallic aftertaste behind. You try not to think about it. You hope the fire they used to boil it, if they boiled it at all, was enough. But deep down, you already feel the mistake brewing inside you. By midday, the signs arrive. First, your stomach twists in on itself. Then, the cramps. They start small, but quickly tighten into a deep, wrenching pain that feels like something alive is trying to escape from your gut. You curl over in the dirt, clutching your middle, trying to breathe through the waves of nausea. But the pain keeps building. You stagger to the edge of the field, collapsing behind a small wall of reeds. That's where it starts. The vomiting, the shivering, the cold sweat that drips down your back, even though the sun is high overhead. Nobody rushes to help. They glance at you, then return to their tasks. This is not unusual. This happens often. The water is shared by everyone, people, animals, insects. There is no separation between drinking, source, and waste. Rain collects in pits. Clay cisterns crack. Filth seeps in. Sometimes people dig shallow wells, hoping for cleaner water. But even the ground here is tired and dirty. There are no purification tablets, no ceramic filters, no second chances. The elderly woman who ignored you before now approaches with a pouch of something pungent. She mashes the contents with her fingers and offers the dark paste to your lips. You flinch. It smells like mold and crushed bark. But you swallow it, barely keeping it down. She nods once and walks away. Whether it was a cure or just ritual, you don't know. The pain doesn't stop. Hours pass. You lose count of how many times you collapse beside the same puddle of bile and waste. Your body empties itself again and again until there's nothing left but spasms and dry heaves. Night falls. No one moves you indoors. You lie, curled in the dirt, your face pressed into the dust, mouth dry, tongue thick. Your stomach is quiet now, but it's only because you've run out of strength. A fever sets in. You dream of clean water, of cold glasses filled with ice, of running taps and clear streams. You dream of the absurd luxury of brushing your teeth. When you wake, your lips are cracked. Your throat burns. The jug beside you is still half full. You stare at it, hand trembling. You know what it will do, but you reach for it anyway. Water keeps you alive, but here it kills you slowly. And tomorrow, when they send you to fetch more, you'll walk to the same spot and drink again. Because in the Neolithic world, survival is about trade-offs. You drink or you die of thirst. Either way, the outcome is the same. At first, you are relieved to see animals living among the people. Goats, pigs, dogs, chickens, they're everywhere. You think maybe things are looking up. If there's meat and milk and eggs, then maybe this isn't as brutal as it felt on the first day. But within hours, the illusion collapses. These animals are not symbols of abundance. They are parasites in disguise, living generators of disease. And they are kept close, far too close. There are no pens, no barns, no fences. The goats sleep inside the same huts as families. Chickens roost on rafters above where children lie. Piglets wander underfoot, squealing as they rummage through human waste tossed carelessly behind homes. In this world, there is no line between living space and livestock space. Everything shares. Everything: air, ground, waste, and disease. The smell is the first thing that turns your stomach. Not just the sharp, musky stench of animal sweat, but the cloying mix of feces, urine, hay, and blood that soaks into your clothes and skin. You wake up with goat hair stuck to your face. You eat with flies buzzing across your bowl, landing first on dung, then on your food. Every surface feels sticky. Every breath tastes like something that should have been buried. Then come the bites. You are bitten constantly. Fleas hop from dog to person. Lice crawl along your neck and into your scalp. Your wrists itch. Your ankles swell. You scratch in your sleep until your skin breaks. Soon, small boils rise under your arms and behind your knees. You don't know if it's an allergic reaction or an infection. It doesn't matter. You have no antibiotics, no soap, no clean cloth to wrap yourself in. A goat sneezes beside you, spraying mucus across your arm. No one flinches. This is normal. In fact, it's expected. Domesticated animals are not pets here. They are tools. They are food. They are heating systems. On cold nights, villagers huddle close to pigs or dogs for warmth. They breathe the same air, share the same fleas. Babies crawl through dirt smeared with dung, and no one lifts them. They are learning early what it means to live in this world. You try to clean yourself with water from a shallow basin, but it only spreads the filth. The dirt never truly leaves your skin. It cakes into the creases of your knuckles and the corners of your eyes. Your clothes stiffen from days of sweat and grime. You stop noticing the smell because everything smells like rot now, including you. At night, you hear the animals shift in the dark. A chicken flaps its wings suddenly. A dog growls low, sensing something outside. You try to sleep, but the scratching never stops. You wake with welt down your back and feel something crawling in your hair. You slap at it and miss. It's already gone, nesting somewhere deeper in the straw mat you're lying on. Domestication was supposed to be the beginning of comfort. Instead, it has introduced a new kind of suffering, one that burrows into your skin and lingers, festering quietly until it becomes part of you. You wanted warmth and food. You got lice and sickness. And in the days to come, you will learn that filth is not the worst part of this place. The worst part is that your body will soon accept it as normal. The word civilization once filled your mind with visions of progress, architecture, community, stability. But here, those things exist only in the barest, most primitive forms. Civilization in the Neolithic era is not a triumph. It is a sentence. And you are now serving it, one agonizing, day at a time. You wake before the sun, not because someone tells you to, but because the hut becomes too hot to sleep in. The walls trap warmth. The smell of animal waste intensifies, and the moans of early labor begin outside. Someone is already grinding grain. Someone else is shouting at a stubborn goat. You drag yourself upright, legs aching, eyes gritty. There is no breakfast, no water basin to wash your face. Just the same tunic from yesterday, still stiff with dried sweat and dust. You are directed to the fields again, but this time with a different tool. A crude digging stick, fire-hardened and slightly curved, is pressed into your palm. The man who hands it to you does not speak. He simply points at a patch of hard, cracked soil. You understand what he wants. Break the ground, turn it, make it ready for planting. You begin. The first hour is not unbearable, but the second feels like punishment. Your lower back burns. Your hands develop new blisters over the ones that haven't healed. Stones hide beneath the surface and send shocks of pain through your wrists every time you strike them. You look around and see the villagers working without pause. Children carry baskets twice their size. Elderly women bend so low to weed the edges of the fields. They look as if they'll never stand again. When the sun reaches its peak, the real suffering begins. The dirt becomes scorching. Your vision wavers. You are allowed a few gulps of warm water from a shared jar, but the taste is foul. Someone offers you a small strip of dried meat. It is tough and stringy, barely edible. You chew slowly, watching others work without complaint. This is not a punishment for them. This is life. In the afternoon, you are assigned to gather firewood. It sounds like a break until you realize the nearest tree line is over a mile away. You carry a woven net over your back and begin the slow, limping walk under the blazing sun. The path cuts through open land scattered with thorns, sharp rocks, and biting insects. You don't have shoes. No one does. The soles of your feet blister and split with every step. By the time you return, the sun is already fading. You are given a dull blade to split the branches. Your arms shake as you raise it again and again. Sparks fly as metal strikes stone. You miss and catch your thumb. Blood seeps down your hand. No one offers help. A woman glances at the wound and tosses you a handful of crushed herbs. You press them against the cut and continue working. Stopping would mean losing their fragile, silent approval. That evening, you are too exhausted to eat. You collapse beside the same fire pit where the others gather. No one speaks to you. They only pass the same grain paste from hand to hand. When it reaches you, it is already cold. You lie down on the dirt floor of the hut, and your body throbs in silence. Every muscle aches. Your skin burns. Your fingers twitch from strain. You thought civilization meant rest. But here, it only means repetition, endless motion, survival through obedience. You are not building anything grand. You are not shaping the future. You once feared death in the wilderness. Now you fear the life you must endure to avoid it. And as the days stretch on, a new question haunts you. How long can a human body endure this before the spirit inside it starts to rot? In your old world, illness came and went. You had medicine. You had rest. You had time. Here, sickness is a constant companion. It creeps into your lungs when you sleep. It clings to your skin in the form of sores and rashes. It swells in your gut and oozes from the smallest cuts. You do not recover here. You deteriorate. It begins with a cough. At first, it seems harmless, a dry tickle in your throat, easily dismissed. But it grows deeper, rougher, until every breath rattles in your chest like a loose stone in a jar. You try to hide it. You know they are watching. If they think you're weak, they will cast you out. But you can't stop the coughing. It tears through you in fits that leave your eyes watering and your ribs aching. At night, the air inside the hut is thick. Dozens of bodies sleep side by side in rooms barely large enough for 5. The windows are nothing more than fist-sized holes in the wall. Smoke from the cooking fire settles low, clinging to the walls and into your lungs. You lie there, half awake, choking silently as fleas bite at your ankles. Someone beside you wheezes in their sleep. Another murmurs fevered nonsense, skin glistening with sweat. There is no concept of quarantine, no place to isolate the sick. Disease is woven into the fabric of life here. Children with sunken eyes play in puddles of waste. Old men cough blood into their hands and wipe it on their tunics. Women give birth in the same space where animals are butchered. One child dies in the morning, and by noon their mother is grinding grain again. You notice your joints beginning to ache even when you're still. Your gums bleed when you chew. Your vision blurs for seconds at a time, enough to make the world tilt sideways. A boil forms on your thigh, angry, and refuses to burst. The fever comes next. It wraps around you like wet cloth, soaking your clothes, making your skin feel too tight for your body. The herbal remedies they give you are crude, a bitter paste of mold and bark, a cup of boiling water with crushed roots. Sometimes they help, sometimes they make it worse. You have no way of knowing what is safe. You swallow what they offer because it's all there is. Eventually, you stop fighting the sickness. Not because you feel better, but because you no longer remember what healthy felt like. This is your new baseline. Always tired, always sore, always one infection away from being left behind. You realize then why these people are so strong, why the children carry water before they can speak. There is no margin here, no room for the frail. Civilization did not make life easier. It just changed the terms of survival. You are not being hunted by beasts anymore. You are being hunted by the things you cannot see. Bacteria, parasites, viruses that thrive in warmth, in closeness, in community. By choosing to settle, humanity made a pact with disease. You now live inside that contract, and it is written in sweat, blood, and the soft sound of someone dying quietly nearby. You thought disease was a thing of the wild, but here, in these permanent homes, it festers. And tomorrow, even if you feel strong enough to stand, your body will still carry the seeds of something waiting to bloom inside you. You thought surviving this place would depend on physical strength, on grit and endurance. But now, you realize that the real danger isn't in the fields or the filth. It's in the silence, in the way they look at you when you speak out of turn, in the way their mood shifts after you touch the wrong object or enter the wrong space. The true threat here is not knowing the rules. This village has its own order, its own quiet rhythms, its own sacred lines drawn in dirt and ritual. And you, the outsider, keep crossing them. When you offered your food to a child, you thought it was kindness, but his mother snatched him away as if you had handed him poison. When you picked up a clay figurine left on a ledge, they gathered around you in absolute silence, watching you return it with a trembling hand. You didn't know it was a symbol. You didn't know it was meant only for the dead. You begin to notice the patterns too late. Men and women walk different paths at certain hours. Children avoid stepping on certain stones embedded in the village center. Every action here is coded in meaning, but none of it is written. There are no signs, no explanations, only consequences. One night, you sit too close to the hearth, and an elder spits into the fire in response. Another evening, you mistakenly stand in front of the wrong doorway during a communal meal, blocking someone's path. The next morning, your food portion is noticeably smaller. No one says a word, but the message is clear. You are not just a stranger. You are a disruption. There is a council of sorts, but you are not invited. They meet in the dark inside a long hut with painted walls and symbols etched into stone. From outside, you hear low chanting, rhythmic tapping, the occasional cry. You have no idea what is being discussed, who is being judged, whether your name has been spoken. The others avoid your eyes the next day. You wonder if a decision has been made about you. Language is a barrier you cannot break. Every day you pick up fragments, sounds, gestures, but they shift like sand. The same phrase said in two different tones can mean offering or insult. You once smiled while someone recited a story, trying to show respect. They stopped speaking. The room grew cold. Someone stood and walked out. You still don't know why. This place doesn't punish through violence. It punishes through absence. Through looks that pass over you, tasks you are not assigned, faces that turn away. In a society built on cooperation, isolation is death. Without instruction, you cannot learn. Without language, you cannot apologize. Without status, you have no place. And the more mistakes you make, the less they speak to you at all. You thought you were learning. You thought survival was about strength. But now, surrounded by people whose rules you cannot follow, and whose faces no longer meet your gaze, you feel something far worse than hunger or sickness. You feel invisible. Night falls like a curtain pulled too fast. One moment, the village buzzes with movement and labor. The next, shadows stretch across the earth, and the wind picks up with a sudden bite. Fires are lit, small and smoky, their light barely reaching beyond a few steps. The heat of the day vanishes, replaced by a cold that feels too sharp for how recently the sun was burning your skin. This is not the comfortable darkness of your old world. This is the kind that presses in from all sides, full of sounds and unseen eyes. The huts offer no real protection. Their walls are thin, their roofs sagging. Inside, the air grows heavy with smoke and breath. Children huddle close to parents. Old men cough softly into the dirt. Dogs curl against the backs of sleeping bodies. You lie near the doorway, the furthest from the fire, watching the flicker of flames dance along the cracked wall. Your stomach growls. Your fingers still sting from work. But what keeps you awake tonight is not pain. It is fear. Outside, something moves. A low growl rumbles just beyond the edge of the firelight. You hear twigs snap, feet shuffle. The goats bleat nervously. Then silence. You wait, breath caught in your throat. No one else reacts. This is normal. You are reminded again that domesticated animals attract wild ones. Wolves, jackals, perhaps something worse. Predators know where humans sleep now. They have learned to follow the scent of straw, blood, and fire. You do not sleep. Not really. Your body dozes in fits, always listening. You are afraid of the animals outside, but also of the people within. The man beside you shifts in his sleep, and his elbow grazes your shoulder. You flinch so hard your knees hit the dirt. He doesn't wake, but you lie there, heart racing, remembering the look he gave you earlier when you took the last scrap of bread. In this world, small things carry weight. Every movement is remembered. Later that night, a scream cuts through the silence, sharp and raw. A woman's voice, then another sound, wet, guttural, painful. Someone is giving birth. No one moves to help. They have already done what they could. You hear the groans rise and fall like waves. Then a final cry. Then stillness. You don't know who survived, and no one will tell you in the morning. You sleep for minutes at a time, just long enough to slip into strange dreams full of burning fields, giant birds, and empty homes. When you wake, your mouth is dry, your limbs are stiff, and the fire has burned down to ash. The cold wraps around your body like a wet blanket. You pull your arms close and feel the shallow breaths of someone else pressed against your back. You do not know their name. They do not know yours. But in the dark, there is no room for names. You are not safe, not from the cold, not from the wild, not from disease, not from them. The night here does not offer rest. It offers another test, one you must pass silently, shivering, eyes wide open in the dark. You made it to the next morning, but every night will be harder, and soon you will come to fear sleep itself, not because of the dreams, but because you might not wake up. Your body is beginning to give up, not all at once, but in small betrayals that come without warning. Your legs don't respond when you first stand. Your vision swims when you bend over. Your arms shake even before you lift a tool. The blisters on your palms have split open, revealing raw, red skin that sticks to everything you touch. Infection has already taken hold. You smell it. Others smell it too. They pass you on the path without looking, adjusting their baskets, avoiding even your shadow. You thought the work would get easier, that your muscles would adapt, that you would grow stronger. But your body has not learned. It has only broken more quietly. Your mind, too, is no longer safe. You forget words. You forget what day it is. You forget why you stood up. Sometimes you forget your own name, and when you remember it, it feels wrong, too soft for a place like this. Food is no longer satisfying. You eat because you must, not because it helps. It tastes like soil and smoke. It turns your stomach. You've stopped asking what it is made from. Some days, there is only broth. Other days, it is a scrap of meat so dry it splinters between your teeth. Your hunger never leaves. It only shifts to the background, a dull ache humming under your ribs. The villagers still speak around you, but not to you. You try to follow their conversations, to study their expressions. But their faces are masks now, hardened, quiet. They seem immune to everything: cold, heat, death, even fear. You begin to wonder if this is what humanity looked like before comfort ever existed. Unsmiling, unforgiving, focused only on what must be done next. One morning, you fail to get up at all. You lie on the mat, barely breathing, watching the light crawl across the wall. The others step over you. A few mutter words you cannot translate. You expect someone to kick you. No one does. They simply leave you behind. You try to rise, but your legs won't lift you. You crawl instead. You drag yourself outside and collapse in the sun, face down in the dust. Flies settle on your skin. Your mouth is dry. You beg for water without saying anything. Just a look. Just a motion. A girl notices and walks past. A boy glances down, then away. You are not one of them. Not part of the story. They are continuing to live. For the first time, you wonder if death would be a relief. Not a failure, but an exit. The struggle to stay alive has become a loop without meaning. Every day is identical. Every effort erased by the next morning's hunger. Maybe there is something out there. Maybe anything would be better than this. So you make a choice. You leave. You do not announce it. You do not take supplies. There is nothing to take. You simply walk, one step at a time, past the fields, past the people who do not stop you. No one calls your name. No one asks where you are going. They let you go as if they expected it. The sun climbs higher as your legs carry you into the unknown. You thought the village was death, but now, as the land stretches out empty before you, you begin to understand something worse. Out here, there is no death. There is only waiting. The land stretches endlessly in every direction. No signs, no paths, just the dry rustle of wind over cracked soil and dying grass. You walk with no destination, only the idea that something, anything, beyond the village might offer relief. Your feet bleed. The soles are torn and caked with dust. Your knees buckle more often now. But you push forward, even when your shadow begins to sway and flicker in ways shadows shouldn't. Hunger becomes something abstract. You no longer feel it as pain. It becomes a dull whisper in the back of your mind. You think of food only as memory. What roasted meat used to smell like? What cool fruit once felt like on your tongue? Now, even water feels like a rumor. The last sip you had was yesterday or the day before. You've lost track of time. The stars come out, but you do not recognize their patterns. You stumble into a patch of thorny scrub and fall hard. The fall knocks the wind out of you, but you don't scream. You don't even flinch. The thorns dig into your skin, but there's no strength left to pull them out. You lie still, face pressed to the earth, breathing in the bitter scent of dust and old roots. Part of you hopes you will not rise again. At some point, you begin to hallucinate. You hear voices, soft, distant, speaking in a language you almost understand. A child's laughter, a drumbeat, someone calling your name, but not the one you were born with. You sit up, confused, heart racing. There is no one there. Night returns, and with it, the cold. Not the manageable kind from the village, but the kind that slips beneath your skin and settles deep in your bones. You curl in on yourself, shaking uncontrollably, trying to hold on to what little warmth you still have. Your breath clouds the air, then disappears. Each inhale feels shallower than the last. Your body is shutting down, and then you see them. Figures in the distance. People. They are watching you. Not villagers, not rescuers. Just silent shapes standing at the edge of your vision, motionless as if carved from the very earth itself. You try to speak. You lift a hand. But your fingers don't move. Your throat is too dry to make a sound. The world begins to spin slowly, then tilt, then darken. You lie back and close your eyes. There are no flashes, no grand endings, just silence and stillness, and the faint memory of warmth as your final breath leaves your lungs. They bury you in the morning. A shallow grave near the edge of the fields, far from the others. You are not mourned. You are not remembered. The villagers move on, planting seeds near where your body lies. In time, even your bones will become part of the earth. You were a visitor here, and now you are soil. The Neolithic era did not kill you with violence or cruelty. It killed you with indifference, and in the end, that was worse, because it proved you never belonged here to begin with. You came here thinking the Neolithic era would be harsh, but manageable. After all, this was the beginning of everything. Farming, villages, domestic life. This was where humanity first took control of its destiny. But now you understand that the price of settling down was not freedom. It was burden. A life bound to the soil. A body trapped in repetition. A spirit slowly ground down by silence, sickness, and unrelenting labor. You did not die from wild beasts or sudden violence. You died from time, from days that asked too much and nights that gave nothing back. Civilization did not arrive as a triumph. It crawled into being, dragging suffering behind it. And for those who could not keep up, there was no mercy, no burial mound, no memory, just more dirt to walk on. This was the real beginning of humanity's story. If you had stayed one more day, the outcome would have been the same. Because in this time, survival belonged only to those who knew the language, who followed the rules, who grew up with the cold breath of death always at their neck. You were not one of them. You were an intruder. And this world made sure you never forgot it. If this journey through the Neolithic era made you feel something, if it opened your eyes to the price of progress, the fragility of comfort, or the quiet violence of the past, then take a moment before you return to your world. Leave a comment. Would you have survived longer? Would you have stayed in the village or run? Click like if the story held you. Subscribe if you want to keep traveling through time with us. And share this video if you believe more people should know what history truly felt like. This was just one stop on the long path of human survival. But there are many more to come. The next era is waiting.